We got a lot of talk about in this episode of Bar Conversations, and I'm excited to welcome in. He's a singer, songwriter, guitarist as well. He does a little bit of everything. His latest single, Lavender, is out now, which you got to give a listen to. Let's get right to it and welcome in Landon Smith.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is Bar Conversations, and I try to pair things with my guest, and you have a song called Lavender. I don't have anything beverage wise that it has lavender in it, although I probably could have found some gin, but I don't really want to do that. So I found something that's in that spirit, and that is a little what they call Rosewater from Larrikin, which is proofed down bourbon using rosewater. So I thought that was fitting for a
Hey,
guy that put out a song called Lavender.
here you go. It's probably better than the margarita lavender mix they got at Kroger.
How was that? It doesn't sound like that could work well.
I didn't buy it. I was scared to. That sounds disgusting.
Now this is bar conversation, so I'm curious, what's your go-to drink these days? What's your guilty pleasure?
It depends on what type of night I want to have. If it's a chiller night, it's usually a Coors Light and a few shots of Rumple Mints in between those. um, but if me and the boys are hitting the town and going hard, it's rum and Diet Cokes, 100%. White liquor tends to suit me better than dark liquor. But yeah, usually rum and Diet Cokes. But yeah, all depends the environment. If at the beach, it's probably gonna be a pina colada. But still with rum, rum I think is my go-to right now. Big fan of rum.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all, and I love someone that knows what they enjoy to and what they either behave themselves with or feel better with on the next day, because that's half the battle, right?
For sure. For sure.
Now, I'm curious. Obviously, depending on the mood, is kind of how you base the drink, and that makes perfect sense. Who doesn't love a good Coors Light? But what's something else that fans might be interested or surprised to learn about you? Whether it's a hobby, a side project, or just something you like to do in your free time that folks just might not expect.
Man, it's hard. I've been trying to find a hobby recently. Turned out that uh, my hobby turned into my job, I guess. But tried reading. I'm really bad at that. I can't do that too much. Something that people would be a little surprised about. I have cacti, and I take care of them. They're like my children. I love them a lot, and I put them out in the sun every day and bring them back in at night, and I like take really good care, or at least try to. So that's I guess you consider that my hobby for now.
Hey,
You
there's nothing wrong with that. Be careful. My wife started doing stuff like that. Now we have like 50 plants in the house, so be careful.
Yeah,
That could become an obsession, and
for sure.
grow.
I was like, I wanted a pet, not really, but I was like, I don't want to take care of one. And so I was like a plant, and then I was like, I'm on the road so much, I wouldn't be able to water it. So then found cacti. Bam,
You
it's
got a
hard to
green
kill.
thumb at it.
There you go, pretty much.
Now, like I said, you do this thing called music. Did you grow up in a musical family? Have you always loved music, or when did that start for you?
Not as much as a musical family. Like, nobody really played any instruments or sang or whatnot. Uh, but like my dad was, I feel like every dad of my generation, he was like the one, hey yo, come check out this music video, and it's just like Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. He's like, look at this shit. They're like, they're jumping over cars. Like, that's so cool. So he was very he drove me to like really diving into music on, different genres. We went to a lot of concerts with my father, and fell in love with the live performance of it all. So got hooked with that, and picked up guitar at second grade and just took off with it.
Now, what made you want to do the guitar? Was it just because of the videos, or you just liked it? What made you want to pick up the guitar and keep going at it?
Well, the school I went to that my mother also taught at, there was a guitar teacher there for after school, for kids, so I guess she just wanted me to get the fuck out of her room and let her work after school. So it started with that, and I just loved it. I mean, the guitar was bigger than I was, and I was terrible, but just really stuck with it and had a blast.
Well, and clearly you enjoyed it because you're still playing it today. But you also, if I read correctly, is it true that you played in bands through middle and high school? And when we're talking bands, are we talking like the school band, or are we talking like you made your own rock band? What are we talking about here?
So yeah, in like middle school, I did like 3 days of the band, and then I dropped it as a class. I took like a piano class through middle school, and then high school came along, and I went to a different school and met a fella who also played guitar, and we were just like picking around. He's now the guitar player in my band still, and we slowly like formed different bands because at first it was just me and him, and then we found a bass player. So we had a three piece, but somebody needed to play drums. So I bought a drum kit, learned how to play drums, and was singing and drumming. Then the bassist graduated. So I bought a bass. We taught his twin brother how to play drums. And that was our three piece then. And we're still, I mean, the band's still a band today. I have the same drummer and the same guitar player. But yeah, I didn't make the baseball team. So I started started a band from that. It
How,
was
how much did your parents love the drums in the house? How much was that? Was that a go, a yay, or a nay?
it was okay. My mom was we tried to do it when she wasn't at the house too much, you know. We'd get out of school and practice, or we did it in my friend's basement a lot, and that was fine. But we would have a bunch of shows in the hometown, you know. We did super illegal parking garage shows that got busted up, and but it was worth it, dude. It was so cool.
Well, I mean, to hear you talk, I mean, it's crazy to think that you're still playing with some of these guys. They're still part of your band when you're out on tour and to get to do the full band sets and different things like that. I mean, is it wild to think that you guys just kind of met in high school and started playing because you both like guitar and to see where you're at now?
Oh, it's insane. We definitely have those like after shows sappy talks when you're a little bit, you know, inebriated and you're like, bro, we get to do this for a living and this like this is sick. And it's like it really is, you know. I mean, to see how much we've grown as musicians, it's like awesome. And especially if I'm gonna be stuck in a van for 20 hours on the road, it better be with my best friends, you know. So I'm real lucky that I got to keep them.
Well, that's awesome. And you grew up in McDonough. How do you say it? McDonough, Georgia. Is that right?
Just
Yeah,
McDonough.
McDonough. See, I knew I'd screw something up eventually, which is just south of Atlanta, I believe. But clearly, you met best friends that you're still getting to play to today. You got to go see shows because I'm sure being near Atlanta, you're able to either go up there or there's stuff around. So, what impact did that have on you both musically and personally? Because clearly, a lot came out of there, good for you.
Yeah, McDonough really I guess how back to me, there ain't a damn thing to do in that town. Um we you know, we would kind of make our own, I guess, events that would happen. So like we would throw basement shows a lot, and those parking garage parties, or you know, we did two of those before it got busted. But we had a great turnout, like 250 people each time. It was really fun, and you know, it was in the it was right in between. You know, it was a suburb, McDonough was, but then you had right south of it was Jackson in Butts County, and that was, you know, us Hickville, USA. That was the country, and so all my friends from middle school would live out there. So I would get a taste of the suburban life, and then go to the woods and fuck around and do shit like that. So it was I got a little taste of both, you know, things. Got the rock indie aspect from the McDonough, and then the country southern loving from Jackson, Georgia, I guess.
Well, and you talked about your dad showing you all those old music videos. Your mom kind of putting you into music. I mean, clearly it feels like you had a wide variety of music growing up. So, what music made an impact on you back then, and even maybe to this day that you still love?
Like the first thing I remember was my dad's ringtone was the trumpets from Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, and I was like, "That's so cool! What is that?" So that took me in a deep dive, and that just got me into I guess old country, which who doesn't like old country? But that got me into it. Then I started discovering things myself. I didn't play electric guitar, like I didn't have an electric guitar. I only had an acoustic guitar, so it was really uh, was really looking for that sound with it was primarily acoustic guitar so I could play it. So found Mumford and Sons from that, and then that's been like one of my favorite bands ever. And one of my friends from middle school, we started figuring out about heavy metal and stuff like that. And that opened up a can of worms for me, man. I'm a huge metalhead, and the heavier the better sometimes, you know. So big fan of like Tool and people like that, Deftones, Korn, Gojira. Um, I'm really all over the place when it comes to music. I think it's a good thing, you know. You're not stuck in one lane, but definitely the if it was more acoustic sounding back in the day, it was what I listened to because I wanted to copy that 100%.
Well, I mean, it's funny to hear because you obviously doing this for a while now. I've talked to folks, and whether they ended up in country world or folk or whatever, rock was somewhere along the way. Sometimes they try to do a rock band and realize they just didn't sound like that at all. But but it's cool to see all those influences that do seep in. So for you, I mean, how did you kind of end up maybe in the country, acoustic route more so than anything? Was it just because you loved that too, but that's just the sound you made?
It was definitely what I like started out, you know, when I really started getting good, I guess, at playing guitar. I mean, playing chords. I'm not a great guitar player, but uh, that's how I kind of started out. And then it was just that country vibe, acoustic stuff. And then I got with my band in high school and we switched over to indie. And I was doing that for a while. And then once I went to college, they went to college up in Atlanta and I went South Georgia. I didn't get to see them that whole first year of college, so I went back to like the country stuff and shit. I guess it did well, a little bit. But even now, like we still implement our like love for rock and roll in our sets. It's never a we don't look at ourselves as a country band at all. I mean, we throw down at our shows for sure. It's the louder the better, and the covers that we try to pick out is, you know, we never pick a country cover to play. It's some crazy shit. Recently it's been a lot of Tool. We play a lot of Tool at the shows. So
I like it. I like it. See, it's unique, and but you're putting your spin on it, and you talk about you went down to I believe Georgia Southern, uh, before you ended up in Music City, and you weren't doing parking garage parties, but you were doing some frat parties and different things, just like some other big names that have gone through that area with like Luke Bryan and Cole Swindell. But what was it like at those shows? Because I'm guessing that kind of set you up for success, later on.
those were sweet. I worked at a bar down there called Blue Room, which a lot of people have played at. And we would like beg the guys to let me and my other friend play up there, and they finally let us. And then we started getting a few frat parties here and there, and it was so much fun, dude. It was a hobby then, you know. It was cool that it was a hobby that I took seriously because it paid me money to drink at the bar and get you into these parties. So it was always a good time. I would say it was like right before the craze. Now I feel like every college is really just doing this, live music thing, which is awesome. But it was like right before it just blew up and happened. So it was still uh for like my whole freshman year of college, which was the only year I went to college, I was known as the short guy who sings. That's all. It would just be like that's what I was known as. So I was like, all right, I'll take it, dude. It was a great time. Great time. So glad I went down there.
I was gonna say there are worse names you could be called and remembered by.
Absolutely. I'll take it.
Well, and then you released a single, "If You Want Me Tonight," which went viral on TikTok while you were still kind of gigging there locally. What was your reaction when all that happened, and did you ever expect something like that to happen?
Like yeah, it was wild. It was wild because it was like it was a half-ass, not a half-ass song, but it was half written. It wasn't finished, and I was just like genuinely throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like it's the best way to describe it because I went over to my manager's house and we were trying to like write together. Nothing came about, and we were like, well, let's just record this TikTok and put it out so this day's not gone to waste. And that's all it needed. That's it. So just some half-written song with a video on a phone just kind of set it off. So I was very surprised. That is for sure.
Well, and then eventually you head to Nashville. What was it like to go from Georgia to the Music City? For you.
It was different for sure. I was coming up for like about a year before I moved up here. So getting the feeling, and I was only 18, 19 when that was happening. So never got the bar scene quite yet in Nashville. Uh, but moving up here was it was different. It was like scary at first, to be honest. I'd never lived in like a big city, and traffic here is an absolute bitch. But it's fine. Um, but I mean, the more I'm here, the more I love it. Being in your 20s and getting to live in a major city that's just thriving right now, there's always something to do. It's a blast. I feel like I'm living in Friends, to be completely honest, right now. That's how I feel. It's a great place.
Well, I love that. I love to hear that. And like I said, I'm reading up, trying to get some interesting things about you. I thought it was interesting that someone described you as having the quote "wise beyond his years" perspective, an old school troubadour. Does that describe you correctly, or were you like, wait a minute, I'm not that old, right?
I I don't know. I like try to. I guess yeah. I guess it kind of describes me correctly in a sense. Like when I write a song, it's usually like I want it to be like deep and meaningful and like make it sound like I know all about life, which I fucking don't. I'm only 22, but and at the same time, like my favorite when I drink coffee, it's black. It's nothing else. I'm in that way. I guess I'm old, but I'm still I'm still young at heart. At sometimes, if the boys ask me to come Tuesday, and we throw down, dude. But I guess in a sense, when it comes to my songwriting, yeah, totally. I really try to think out my lyrics and make it deep and whatnot. You can't do it all the time, but I guess that's what they're getting at.
Well, and I read too where you got your start really recording on an iPad with GarageBand. Is it crazy to think that that's how you were doing stuff back in the day and doing it all yourself or mostly yourself?
So my guitar player was the one who would like. I never knew how to do it. We would just do it in a tiny closet with him. It was me, him, and his brother, and we would on an iPad and GarageBand, and it definitely sounded different, from all that. But it's really cool going back. We'll like listen to all those songs still today, and it's like from the first one even to the last one when we stopped. It's like the progress we made was really cool to see. And then now, we just did 4 songs at RCA with Cobb, which was insane, especially for me and those guys. From going to an iPad to a legendary studio is pretty badass.
Well, I was gonna say. I mean, now you're working with folks like Grammy Award winning producer Dave Cobb. I mean, Is it crazy to truly think about how far you guys have progressed and that people like him are wanting to work with you and do some cool things?
Yeah, totally. It was crazy. I remember that call about Dave. I woke up on my buddy's couch in Southern in the dorm, and the A&R from Republic was like, "You do you know Dave Cobb?" I was like, "Yes." I'm like, well, he wants to meet you for his label that he's making. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, let's do it. It was really interesting because yeah, a lot of the times I would ask like, why me? But you know, it's uh it's insane getting to work with that fellow. He's cool, and he's made some of my favorite records of all time. So
Well, and your debut EP, Reckon So, features a track that I know a lot of people love, Pawn Shop Collectibles. Can you tell me a little bit about how that song came to be and the story behind it?
genuinely for my love of thrifting, you know, it's I, my mom raised me if there's a in the sense of the best deal is the best deal. You got to get the best deal on anything you can. I'm a huge like treasure hunter, I guess, thrifter. Um, and I kind of wrote it about that, just two people going off on their own and seeing the world, but picking up little knickknacks on the way to remember them to remind them of their travels. I think that's pretty cool. So that's pretty much the whole basis of the song.
See, and so in addition to cacti, you also enjoy thrifting. So you have two things
I do
that you do.
have two things. I forget about that.
Now your new single Lavender is out now that folks can give a listen to. Is described as a striking new chapter for you. How does it feel to kind of share this more vulnerable, introspective side of yourself in the music?
I'm really excited. That first record that we did was awesome, but it was very leaning towards the I wrote most of those songs I wrote I was like 19, 20. So I was still in that college era of like beer, 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 beer. Which still love beer. Beer's great. But I'm like excited to show that I could be taken seriously as an artist. Like these are real songs that I write. It's not all about partying and drinking and driving separately, not drinking and driving, just drinking and driving fast and stuff like that. But I'm really excited. This was a me and the band together. We were all super stoked for this track to come out.
Now, is it true that there's a specific line in there that was actually inspired by Fergie's London Bridge? Is that true?
100%.
And how did that
100%.
come to be?
I mean, the song, the person that I wrote about, I guess she used to sing this song a lot. So I was just like, when I was just writing this song, I didn't think nothing would come of it. And I remember writing that line, like on your favorite part where the bridge starts to fall down. Dude, I just laughed. I was like, there's sometimes when I'm writing songs, and this is going to sound very like self-centered to me, I guess. I will like write a line and I look at myself, I'm like, Landon, you're a fucking genius. Ain't nobody gonna get this, but and you're a fucking genius. This is cool. And that was one of those lines. And like, I love even the band, I'll give them the song. Like when I wrote that song, I wrote it to a slow finger picky thing on an acoustic guitar and just sent the voice memo to the band and they wrote their parts along with it. But they try to they try to dissect the songs themselves and it's really funny because none of them got that. None of them got that line. Nobody ever clocked that line. I knew I had to say something for somebody to even get that. But yeah, really proud of that line. I think it's really funny. Such a serious song talking about a not so serious song.
Well, I mean, but that's your artistry, that's your work. When you're writing those lines. And now I don't want to get you in trouble, so with the preface of what you can tell me without getting yourself in trouble. I'm guessing you're still in the studio working on some other things, more new music coming. What can you say without getting in trouble?
Yeah, we got more tracks coming on the way, dude. We got a whole uh, record coming out. Been working on that. I don't know how many songs, maybe 11, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, but these are more of the serious, like storytelling, gut wrenching songs, I guess you'd call it. The ones that have real meaning behind it that I'm super, super pumped and proud of. I can't wait.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say hearing Lavender makes me excited for what's next. And you talk about sometimes it's putting little tidbits of life and maybe a pop culture reference that only you get in your songs. But what is your approach to songwriting? I mean, I'm guessing you got a notes app that's full of things or a notepad somewhere. Is it based on those real life experiences, personal memories, or how does it work for you?
Definitely have the notes app full of shit. It's a lot of personal experiences, but it's more so just things that I guess resonate with me. I like to write. I was thinking about this not too long ago. I write songs that I wish were already written so I could listen to them, Like if I'm going to write a song that I would listen to if somebody else would sing it. Like so it is like a bunch of stories I guess personal to me, but then there's other ones that just stories or scenes in my head that just keep coming up that I just feel like I have to write about. Uh, and I never, push it on myself. Writer's block's a real thing, and it isn't. It sucks, dude. It sucks so bad. Um, so if I'm like, if I'm stuck in this writer's block moment, I don't force myself. I kind of just like let it be, and it'll come. It'll come eventually. Dave told me one day when we were in the studio. It's like right when we started working together. He goes, as soon as this shit starts feeling like an actual job, he goes, back up from it for a little bit. So I took that to heart. So anytime I'm like not really writing my best or can't think of anything, I don't stress about it. Just kind of put it to the side and let it come to me.
Well, it sounds like some pretty good advice you got there. And in addition to making the music, like you said, it's a whole other thing to bring it to life. That live show aspect of things, and you've shared the stage with some great folks. Ella Langley, Riley Green, others. What's some of the things that you've been able to pick up along the way when you're able to do those types of shows and maybe get a few minutes of their time or even just see how they work?
Definitely with the people that I've seen, I mean, stage presence is key. If you're sitting there just playing a guitar and singing, you ain't gonna do much for the crowd. I feel like unless you're Evan Felker and you're on Turnpike Troubadours, that man could just sit there and stand still and just kick some ass. But definitely stage presence is key. I don't like to think of it as a concert. I like to think of it as an actual show. Um, with a lot of movement and cool things happening, and you can definitely tell when the band or the people playing are like having a good time and this is what they like to do. And the vibe is just so much better whenever it's that. You see some musicians that it feels like they don't really know their band. They're just like a band to them. That's it. And I get to do it with my friends. Like the whole time we're cutting up and we're talking on stage and, going back and forth. And I love that about our band. And most of the people that I played with are the same way. And another thing is, your fans or the people in the crowd they're going to push you to another level if you let them. With Gavin opening up for him so much, I realized his shows are so wild and whatnot, and people would film it and then they would post that. Gavin didn't need to do no marketing for himself. He had his fans doing all the marketing for free, and it was crazy to me. I thought that was like the most genius idea ever. So, you know, as long as you give them an unforgettable moment, they'll keep coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've gotten, in addition to being able to open for some and play for some of those folks, you've gotten to do like CMA Fest, the Statesboro show down there as well. I mean, what's it like to do some of that stuff? Because that's totally different than a tour date, so to speak. And any bucket list places you're still hoping to make happen here in the next few years?
Yeah, totally. The Statesboro show was cool. That was really fun. I know hometown, not hometown, but college town place. It was really that was a cool one. I liked that. Places that I want to play. I've always wanted to play the Fox Theater in Atlanta. Same with the Georgia Theater in Athens. I mean, I guess Red Rocks. Everybody wants to play at Red Rocks, which is, of course. But there's a few more that I'd rather do. There's the Caverns in Tennessee. Uh, there's another one somewhere. It looks like Red Rocks, but it's not Red Rocks. I can't remember what it's called, but it's super cool. And then the Windjammer in is it, I think it's South Carolina. I got to see the Future Birds there one day, and I've always wanted to play there. These are smaller venues, but just super cool to me. We got to play with Whiskey Myers at our first arena show, where the Oklahoma City Thunder plays, and being in an NBA locker room was pretty strange, and showering in one of those like massive showers that are like a whole fucking room. It was pretty sweet. So I knocked that off my bucket list for sure.
Well, I mean, but those places have meaning to you, and they're, you're from Georgia, so obviously those ones have extra meaning, and then places you've seen some cool shows, and you talk about how much fun you like to have on stage. You got several shows still in May, some in June that are announced so far. So for you, what is the best part about being on stage and being with the band?
The best part of it, I mean, it's just, we used to get a little nervous. Now it's like we're getting kind of used to it, but there's always a little bit of nerves. The best part is just being up there and just doing really good, and you just kind of look at each other and you're like, dude, that was like we're doing it right now. This is so much fun, and I don't know, it's just so there's nothing in the world that can worry you when you're on stage. You're there. Like that is truly like living in the moment. You don't think of anything else, what's coming tomorrow, what's happening. It's just I don't know. Truly like you're there. I'm seeing every face in the crowd, and it's just it sucks finishing it. Like it's that coming off the stage. It's golly, it sucks so bad. I wish I could just do it forever.
Well, and you've talked about too. You love to have the energy. You bring a little bit of the rock show for folks. So if someone does get to see you all live, what can they expect?
They could definitely expect a lot of energy and a cover song that they wouldn't expect whatsoever. We try to make it very strange, but unforgettable. When we played in Canada with Gavin, I remember me and the band were together, and we were like, what's a song that we should play in Canada? What's the most American song we can think of? And we were going through, and then we ended up on Fortunate Son by CCR. And those fucking Canadians went absolutely crazy when we started playing that song. So it's we put a lot of thought in our cover songs. We put a lot of thought in our sets. So be expecting a show and not a concert for sure.
Well, I love to hear that because my next question I think is going to be fun. Then at the beginning, I always got to ask, what's your go-to drink? Coors Light. I mean, does it get any better than that? But what is your favorite song of yours to perform live right now?
Probably the song Supertramp that we're dropping in the next few weeks. That one or Lavender. Um, the only reason is because the band, I mean, we all put that together. Those are all our songs. And there's just something about it. There's when the band comes together and makes a song, and then when I just do it myself, I mean, you feel that energy on stage because they each have their part. They own that part in the song. That's their song as much as it's mine. And so they play it different. They play it like it's theirs, and it's it's really cool getting to see that. So it's definitely Lavender or Supertramp for right now.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like it, and a good tease of what you got coming next. And with that thought, like I said earlier, sounds like you got new music coming. You got some shows. With the preface again, because I don't want to get you in trouble or me. What else can you tell fans to expect from you the rest of this year?
Rest of this year, I mean, got all those songs coming out. They're gonna be haters, absolute hate. Uh, and hitting the road as much as I can, really. Slowly but surely working on new music. Hopefully, get some more out even after all this. But Yeah, definitely come see me on the road. I'll be on the road a lot.
And you'll be touring with guys that you love to be in a tiny tour bus with for many years.
Absolutely. Ah, love it. For sure.
Well, folks, if you haven't yet, go give Lavender a listen and be on the lookout for the new music as well. I don't think you will regret going down the rabbit hole that is Landon Smith and his band. And Landon, man, thank you for sharing your story with me and a drink, and cheers.
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Thank you for having me.